Hello everyone, welcome to episode 7 of the Salapaloosa Knits videocast. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome to the Crafting Crazy, and if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and for spending a little bit of your time with me talking about my crafty adventures. This is a video podcast primarily about knitting, but we do occasionally, getting a little tongue-tied already, we do occasionally take a look at some other different crafty bits and bobs as well. Yes. If you want to get in touch with me, I am Salapaloosa Knits on Instagram. I am Salapaloosa on Ravelry. And if you have any questions or inquiries, feel free to pop me an email at salapaloosanknits@gmail.com. So, my name is Elizabeth and I'm coming to you from the beautiful city of Bergen in the western part of Norway, and this is where I live with my wonderful boyfriend and where I currently study psychology at the university here. I think well, it's been a while since my previous episode, and I have an enormous amount of things to share with you and to show you and to talk about. But in respect of your time and in fear of boring you tremendously, I will try to sort of compress it a little bit and try to maybe split all the goodness into a couple of different episodes, not to overwhelm anybody and myself. So yes, I think we're going to try to keep it a little short and sweet this time and see how that goes. I do tend to go on a bit of a talking rant sometimes when I'm really passionate about some yarn or what I've been working on, so do forgive me if that happens, but I will try my best to keep it short. I would also very much like to get your feedback on the length of the podcast episodes, if you prefer the longer episodes like I've usually been putting up, or if you would prefer something a little bit shorter, maybe around half an hour instead. If you have any opinion about that, please do let me know. All right, I think if you can just grab your knitting, we'll jump right into it. I'll have a sip of coffee out of my wonderful Harry Potter mug. Look at that, by the way. Don't let the muggles get you down. Isn't that brilliant? I got this at Primark just before Christmas, and I think it's just hilarious, and it cost, I think I paid a couple of pounds for it, so no biggie there, but I mean, come on, don't let the muggles get you down. It's my favourite morning coffee mug. Just sets the tone for the entire day, really. Alright, so like I said, it's been a while. I've got tons of things to show you, but I'm going to start off with a finished object, and I don't think I actually showed it on the podcast on the previous episode as a work in progress, because I literally knit it up in, I think, about maybe, well, at least a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. And with all the sort of exam end of term craziness right before Christmas, I just felt like I needed to prioritize that for a little bit, and yeah. Anyways, I'm back, and we'll see a lot of each other in the near future, probably. So anyways, back to the knitting. I want to show you something that I'm really excited about. This is a skirt, and I know what you're thinking. Knit skirts might be a little bit frumpy, and also it takes forever to knit, and it's a little bit intimidating because of that. And I guess a lot of people think that knit skirts are probably not very flattering, and I'm here to tell you that you are wrong, and I have found the absolute perfect skirt for probably anyone who's ever wanted to knit a skirt. So first of all, I'm just going to show you this goodness. Here is the front. As you can see, it's got this really delicate pencil skirt shape to it, with this lovely twisted ribbing section in the top and the bottom. Let me just show you a bit up close there. Isn't that just stunning? I really love this section and this. It did take quite a bit of time to knit, just a little bit fiddly, but it's all worth it in the end, and I love the way it turned out. And are you ready for the back? Because it is really extraordinary. Here we go. What? Look at that! Are you seeing this? So that just proves that a knit skirt is everything other than frumpy, as this is, well, I know that there are maybe some children overhearing this, so I won't use any inappropriate terms and keep it family friendly, but let's just say that it's not frumpy, is it? It's very, very lovely, yeah. So this beautiful skirt was designed by Ane on Instagram. A little bit disclaimer, I do think that she is the most wonderful person, and I do consider her one of my dear knitting friends. But I did do a test knit for her on this skirt, and I'm so glad I did. This has just very quickly become one of my favorite pieces in my wardrobe, and I do wear it a lot. And it's so comfortable. It's knit out of DSA in the Sterk yarn. It is Du Store Alpaca for any of you Norwegians out there. And it's just so durable and lovely to knit with. I really love the stitch definition that this yarn gives. It's just beautiful, and I've really been thinking about knitting another one, because this, although this colour is incredibly easy to wear and it goes with a lot of things, I would also like something a little bit darker, maybe like a dark grey or a black or navy or something like that. What I also really love is that this interesting bow in the back here, well, first of all, it does create a very flattering silhouette from the back side without being sort of over the top. And also it's super easy to change it out for something a little bit different. Now for this one I really wanted something with a little bit of a high contrast to the really light sort of delicate colour on the skirt, to the very sort of black heavy ribbon, but it's very easy to change it up. So now that we're approaching spring, a little early I know, but let's focus on the good things coming. I'm a big fan of spring, so I'm going to focus on that. And I think that with that I'm going to change out the ribbon for something a little bit lighter and springy, if you will. Yes. So that I really like that. I do like the flexibility, and I really feel that it absolutely changes the whole expression and the look of the skirt. With changing just this small detail, you basically feel like you have an entirely new skirt. And over Christmas I put in a bit of a sort of dark reddish purple coloured ribbon for a bit of a Christmas feel to it, and yes, I really like it. As I said, I've been wearing it for a lot. It's held its shape really nicely, and I really recommend this pattern. It has been readily available on Ravelry, thank you, and yes, it has been published. There is a children's version and an adult version as well. Yeah, so if you've ever been thinking about knitting a skirt, just do it. It literally flew off the needles. And you know, this whole section here is stockinette, so it's fairly mindless and just excellent TV or movie knitting if you need to do something other than, you know, knitting sleeves or vanilla socks or something like that. If you just want something to work on that doesn't really require your full attention, then this is a really good thing to cast on. Yes, what else do I want to say about this? I did use Hyia Hyia Sharps, which are basically my go-to needles. They were perhaps a little bit too sharp for this yarn, as I did tend to split it a little bit, because it's not really that firmly plied, so it's quite easy to split it when you work on it. But all in all, I think it worked well, and I just find the Hyia Hyia to be so smooth and quick to knit with that that sort of leveled out the splittiness, I guess. Yes, and like I said, it's super flattering and it's quite fitted without being super tight, and yeah, I highly recommend it. It is I'm sorry, I don't think I said what the name of it was. I'll make sure I'll put it in the down bar and on the screen much earlier than this. But like I said, it's designed by Ane-Karine, and it is the Finsløyfeskjørt. I think it is the pretty bow skirt in the English version, but I'll check it and I'll make sure to link it and put on the right name on the screen. Yes. There we go. One more time. Look at that. Look at that beautiful ribbing. Isn't that gorgeous? Gosh, I think it is stunning. It really is. It really is. All right. So, just a little bit of another sip, and we'll move on to the next finished object that I have to show you. All right, so the next thing I want to show you is another test knit that unfortunately I wasn't able to show you while I started it, and this is a pair of sort of house slippers or house socks, and they are called the Malabrigo Mukluks. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce it, but it is a lovely pattern by the amazing Lavanya Patricella. And if you don't know, she is basically this knitwear design superstar, and she is so sweet and wonderful and charming, and it was just a bit of an honor really to test knit for her. She is so brilliant, and I really admire her work and all of her designs, so I was thrilled, and I just jumped at the opportunity. Now, these socks are knit using the Malabrigo chunky yarn, and that is not really, Malabrigo yarn isn't really available in Norway where I live. So if you've seen my last episode, you know that I had a trip to London before Christmas, and also a trip to Paris before Christmas, so I thought that I would get something while I was on holiday, and that I would be stopping by Loop in London, so I could definitely pick up some Malabrigo there. But I sort of went into this magical spell of Yarny Loopy goodness while I was at Loop, so it just totally slipped my mind. And I did get some other lovely bits and bobs, which I will show you in this episode. But unfortunately, the chunky just completely slipped my mind, which was ridiculous. But that's what happened. So instead, I knit them out of a drops yarn, the Drops Nepal. So here they are. These are the Malabrigo Mukluks, or something in that regard. I will put it on the screen so you know what you have to look up. And they are published. The pattern is available on Ravelry, and if you love them like I do, you can very easily pick up your copy of the pattern and just get going. Let me tell you, these felt sort of like a vanilla sock, because it's quite mindless. You just need to keep track of the color work here. But other than that, they just flew off the needles. I think I had a friend over for dinner and some wine, and we watched some television or a movie or something, and I cast on the sock, I think maybe about 7, and after about 2 hours I had knit almost I had knit the entire leg, and I was doing the heel. So I mean, what more can you ask for, really, in terms of a quick knit? It is just brilliant, and I really want to order some Malabrigo and make another pair. Like I said, I knit these out of the Drops Nepal yarn, which has quite a different thickness than the Malabrigo chunky. So I did alter the needles quite a bit to get the right gauge. I'm just going to pop this. Oh, I can show you the other one. It's this really loose and lovely fitted. No, not really fitted at all. I mean, it's fitted on the foot, but it's quite loose on the leg, which just makes it the most amazing sort of comfy house sock. Yeah, like I said, I definitely want to try out the original version of the sock. I'm sorry, the yarn, the Malabrigo chunky. I haven't used Malabrigo chunky before, so that's part of it. But also this, although I really love the way that they turned out, both in the way that they look, but also in terms of the way that they fit and how comfy and warm and lovely they are, I still feel like the chunky yarn might be a little bit better. They would get even, I guess, a little bit thicker, and also these tend to pill quite a bit, and that is entirely because of the yarn that I used. So it would be good to try something else. But all in all, I highly, highly recommend the Malabrigo Mukluks socks by Lavanya Patricella. They were so much fun to knit, and it really got me excited about doing a bit of colour work again, and maybe do some mittens or yeah, something like that, a cardie, or sort of an old traditional patterned cardie or something like that. Yeah, I so totally lost my train of thought there. I'm sorry. I guess I'll just have another sip of coffee, see if that helps. But point being, I really love these. The pattern is wonderful, and it's clear, it's easy to follow, and I highly enjoyed making these. I will probably make another pair as soon as I can get my hands on some Malabrigo chunky. Yeah, I wish I was planning a trip back to London. I'm not at the moment, so I'm not quite sure where I would get some. I am going to Rome quite soon, but I don't think that Rome is really a big yarny, fibery, knitty city. I don't know, is it? If anyone has any tips about Rome, whether about Malabrigo and yarn in general, or just general tips about places to go and places to see and places to eat, please let me know. I really would appreciate that. Anyways, going off on a bit of a tangent there, let's move on to the next object that I want to show you, and lo and behold, it's another finished object. Yes, there is quite a few of these, with a little bit of videocast hiatus I've been having for the last month, so or month and a half probably, but good. That's good, isn't it? Not the hiatus part, but the finished object part, because that is the most fun, isn't it? Yes. So the next thing I want to show you is a pair of socks as well. It's the Wildflowers and Honeycomb socks, which is designed by Olivia Villarreal. I'm sorry, I just really want to check quickly what her name is on Instagram. It's This Handmade Life. She has a beautiful feed and a lot of beautiful sock patterns on Ravelry. This Handmade Life. I do recommend following her. And so these are the Wildflower and Honeycomb socks. It's just this super easy, and I feel like it's not very easy to see because of the very speckly, beautiful yarn, but you can see, I think you can see the pattern here rather nicely, and it's just this very simple eyelet lace pattern stitch, and it's just a great go-to pattern for if you want to knit something that's just enough detail to sort of spruce up any old vanilla sock pattern. Yeah, and I have knit quite a few of these socks actually previously, but it's been a while since the last time, and I really wanted something other than just a plain vanilla sock, and I wanted something lacy but not too lacy and a little bit mindless, because I wanted to make these my Christmas socks. So I cast it on Christmas Eve, and yeah, just this happened. They knit up so quickly, and during Christmas we went to visit my parents, and we were there for Christmas Eve to the day after Christmas, and they live a few hours away from where we live, so we drove down on Christmas Eve and home again on Boxing Day. But is it Boxing Day? The day after Christmas Eve? The 25th of December? Is that wrong? I think that might be wrong. Anyways, the day after Christmas Eve, we drove back home. So with quite a few hours in the car, I thought that I would probably zoom through these entirely, but I do tend to underestimate the very winding roads, and with all these sort of turns and ups and downs and ferries, and yeah, it was just no way that I was going to be knitting on these socks during that entire trip. So I just went over to being the entertainment committee and singing carols and entertaining my boyfriend while he was driving. So it was a good trip all in all. I do like going on road trips with him, but I would love to have been able to knit a bit, but I do tend to get just so car sick, and whilst doing something and looking at something else on the road, so there was just no way that was going to happen. But anyways, when I got home, I started knitting up a storm on these socks, and I'm so glad I did, because I love the way that they turned out. The yarn is Party Season by Mothy and the Squid. Here's their card, Mothy and the Squid. I do really love their yarns, and this yarn was no exception. This is the cake, and there's quite a bit left here. Now granted, the socks aren't very long. I knitted them a little bit shorter because that is my preferred length. I don't really like my socks to be that long, and I put in an afterthought heel because I decided that I'm going to gift these. I'm not saying who to just now because they might be watching this episode, and I don't know if they'll get them before I publish it, so yeah. But I'm really happy with how they turned out, and I do really want to keep them for myself, but the person who's getting them is just super knit worthy, and yes, I really want her to have them. Yes, I think that's it for the finished objects. I just want to show you, sorry about that, show you some of the acquisitions that I made at Loop. Now, if you don't know, Loop is this incredible knitting shop in London. It is located in this incredibly charming area, and the street is it's just so inspirational just to walk through there. They have this great coffee shop, and yes, it's just the most wonderful location, and the shop as well is just one of my absolute favorite yarn stores in the world. Yeah, so Loop, I did pick up a couple of things. I got a couple of skeins of the MadelineTosh in her Twist Light yarn, which is a sock yarn. It is a 75-25 merino nylon blend, and I got the Gemini twins, which is this really fun yarn right here. Isn't that just adorable? I really love it. I think it's so sort of wild and fun. Just, isn't it just really fun? It's got these black and bright pink and orange and yellow and blue speckles, and it's so, oh, I can't wait to see how it knits up. This is actually the first time I've gotten some MadelineTosh Twist Light yarn, so I'm very excited to see how that works. It's a fingering weight yarn, it's a sock yarn, and every skein, it's 100 gram skein, and each skein is 384 meters, which is approximately 420 yards. So that's quite good. You can get a good pair of socks out of that. And the other skein I got, also MadelineTosh Twist Light, is on the Marfa colorway, and this I just could not put down when I saw it. Look at this. It's so plump, and I mean, these colors, aren't they just stunning? Oh, I love it. I wish I would have bought a whole bunch of these, because I'm thinking that this would make the most amazing sweater. Look at that. It's the Marfa colorway. It feels like almost like a shame to use it on socks, because I wanted it to be something that's readily visible, almost, to showcase it. So a sweater would be wonderful. I guess maybe I could work it into a fade or something like that, but I don't know, I'll have to think a bit about it. I don't really have a particular project in mind for any of these. But yes, that's the MadelineTosh. And I got 2 balls of the Shoppelwolle. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. Shoppelwolle. I'm not quite sure, but it's Shoppel anyway. And this is called the Crazy Zauberball sock yarn. It's a German yarn. Look at this. I just had to show you right away. I couldn't hold back while talking about it. Look at how fun this is. Now, seeing this in the basket where they were lying just inside of the door, this didn't really caught my eye, but then I saw this pair of Chestnuts Socks that was sort of on top of the basket showcasing the yarn, and that was knit out of this one, and it was just stunning. So I grabbed it in my basket right away. So this is a 75-25 wool nylon. It says it's a virgin, 75% virgin wool and 25% nylon, yes. So it is a 100-gram skein, which is, skein, it's a ball, 100-gram ball, which is 420 meters. So that is quite generous. And this colorway is called the Sternschnuppe. I have no idea what that means in German. I did have German in school, but I didn't really learn a lot. I can introduce myself, I can sort of talk touristy German, I can ask for directions and order and introduce myself and ask polite questions. I know the very interesting word Kugelschreiber, which means a ballpoint pen, which I found hilarious when I was 12. So I remember that. Here is the ball band, and it's got a cute little cat on there. And yeah, I think this is going to be so much fun to work with. And I don't think I mentioned that, but if you look at, I'm going to show you, oops, sorry if that made a noise, I lost my microphone there. I'm just going to show you up close. If you can see this beautiful twist here, every strand is 2 different colors. So it's plied, it's 2-ply with, so here we go, it's this green and blue, we've got the sort of moss green and pink, which is stunning, and all through it's just these different sort of 2 color plies, and I think that is just going to look amazing whilst it knits up. So yes, this is the 2292 color Sternschnuppe. What does that mean? Does anybody know? Sternschnuppe, does it mean anything? Is it just another funny word like Kugelschreiber? Well, that does mean something, but yeah. Let me know if you know. And the second one is, it's the same yarn, but it's the 2337 colorway, and this is called Mars Experiment. And this one is just so much fun. Look at that deep red with that bright sort of turquoisey blue there, and it's just stunning. I really love these. I'm so excited to use them, and they were quite affordable. I'm not gonna I don't know entirely for certain the price on them, but I think it was about £8, £9 or £10 or something like that for each ball, which is not very bad for sort of special sock yarn. So I was really excited about that. And this is without a doubt my favorite, and one of the main reasons that I just had to go to Loop while we were in London, because they stock ching fibres. And I have been drooling over the ching fibres for as long as, ever since they went into business, I think in 2016. And the ching fibre yarns are all hand dyed by an independent yarn dyer called Layla Ching, and it is. I'm just going to show you because I'm not going to be able to describe this in a way that does it justice. This is ching fibre merino single in the hummingbird colorway. Oh yeah, look at that. I mean, come on, how stunning is that? Don't you just want to grab it and start working on it right away? Oh, I love this so much. I think it's stunning. It's so beautiful. It's, like I said, it's the hummingbird colorway. It's a 100% superwash merino. It's 366 meters in 100 grams gain. And head over to the Loop online store or to chingfibre.com to make sure you get one for yourself, because I mean, come on, one more time. Look at it. Oh, this is just right up my alley. I think it has to be a shawl, but I mean, so that's the ching fibres in the hummingbirds colorway. Sorry if my setup changed a little bit just now. I've had a little bit of a technical difficulty, so I had to change some things around a little bit. But the last thing that I got from Loop was these adorable teeny tiny Pom-Pom Makers from Clover. Look at the size of these things. They are just... I've been wanting these for a really long time, so I was really glad when I found them at Loop. And I can't wait to use them. They are just the teeniest, tiniest Pom-Pom Makers, and they're going to be just absolutely perfect for what I have in mind for them. Stay tuned. Yeah, that's probably it for the knitting. I will talk a little bit about some administrative things and some general life waffle, and if you don't want to stick around for that, that is perfectly fine. I will talk to you later about some more knitting, and have a good week. On to the admin stuff. I have been working on something really exciting that I can't wait to show you, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to make you wait a little bit longer. Sorry about the tease, but it is a design project, I can tell you that much. It's a pair of socks, I think I can tell you that much as well, and the pattern is almost written up, so that means I will be doing a call out for test knitters rather shortly. So if you're interested in that and to follow that design process, make sure you follow me on Instagram. I'm Salapaloosa Knits. I will do the call out for the test knitters on Instagram, so that is definitely the place to be. I've also decided that I'm going to start a Ravelry group for the podcast, and I'll probably try to do that rather shortly, and I will announce it on Instagram as well, but of course I will let you know on the podcast when it happens also. So that's that. 2 exciting news and things happening, and I can't wait to talk to you about it and show you when the time's right. Yes, so that's that. I've been getting a couple of inquiries about wondering how my Paris trip was, and I just wanted to let you know really quickly. Thank you for asking. It was just perfect. I've never been to Paris before, but I've always wanted to go. I've always been very interested in art and architecture, and I did some art history classes in school, and yes, and the food and everything. Paris has been very, very high up on my traveling bucket list. So when we had the opportunity to go this winter, we just jumped on it, and it was beautiful. If you haven't been and had the opportunity to go, just do it. It was so wonderful. We had a balcony in a hotel room that was when you walked outside, you could you had this beautiful view of the Eiffel Tower, and it was sunny every day and rather cold in the evenings, but that's to be expected. And just it was just magical. We walked everywhere, which was good because I basically ate my entire weight in almond croissants and macarons and different kind of Parisian treats and sweets, and yeah, the food was just amazing, and so is the architecture and the art, and visiting all these wonderful just beautiful buildings and seeing the Notre Dame, and we went for a cruise on the Seine River, and it was just wonderful and terribly romantic, and yes, it's just definitely the place to go if someone you love, I think. I really wanted to visit La Bien-Aimée when we were there, but unfortunately there wasn't enough time because it turned out it was quite a ways to the store, and we had a bit of a full schedule really because there was so much we wanted to do while we were there, so we just didn't have the time. But obviously when traveling to London afterwards, I did manage to do some damage at Loop, and I also got some lovely yarn at John Lewis, which I will show you in the next episode. And I also had ordered just a ton of yarn from individual dyers to the hotel. So when we arrived, there was just this mountain of parcels waiting for us, which was a lot of fun because, you know, it was all yarn, and I think that the receptionists probably wondered what on earth were, you know, in all these puzzles, and also they were all marked with yarn. So yeah, anyways, I'm really excited to show you what I got, but I'm going to refrain from doing that just now because it would take forever. Yes, London was great. I love going to London in the winter. It's just such a beautiful sort of Adventy, Christmassy city. It's impossible to go there and feel Grinchy, or at least if you do go there feeling Grinchy, I can assure you that by the time you leave, your heart will grow 3 sizes. Yeah, it's just the perfect place to get in the Christmas spirit, I think. Eating roasted chestnuts in the Winter Wonderland in Hyde Park, and watching all the Christmas window displays in the big department stores, and having mulled wine or hot apple cider, and yeah, it's perfect. And I have this little Christmas tradition to buy some Christmas ornaments at some of the larger department stores like Harrods or John Lewis, and yeah, they're just really special to me and just a really lovely Christmas tradition. Yeah, so we did all of that, and after Christmas it's been mostly work and studying, and I do get quite a bit of knitting done, as I tend to carry my knitting around with me everywhere, so that's good. There'll still be a lot of things to show you, I promise. Yeah, so that's that. In other news, we are heading to Rome in a week, and I'm very excited about that as well. A lot of ancient buildings and monuments and art, and I can't wait. And the food, my goodness, the Italian food. I haven't been to Rome before, so that will be very exciting. And like I said, if you have any tips as to restaurants or craft stores or anything at all, really, I would really appreciate it. Yeah, just let me know. I guess it's time to wrap this thing up. It's been really good to talk to you again. I'm sure it won't be long until the next episode. I will probably see you next week, and make sure you hit the subscribe button and put those alerts on, so that you'll get the what am I saying? Get the alerts. Yeah, turn on the alerts so you'll get the notice. That's right. Turn on the alerts so you'll get the notice for when the next video is up. And feel free to hit the thumbs up if you've enjoyed talking to me about all the craftiness. And yeah, hope you have a lovely week with a lot of knitting and crafty goodness. Take care, and I'll talk to you next week. Goodbye.